I just don't know where to go or what to do when I'm depressed. I don't want to moan to my friends all the time, so I just stay in my room and cry.
1 in 4 people in the UK will experience some kind of mental health problem. This adds up to the single biggest item on the NHS budget, although many never find help.
At some points, my anxiety is so bad I can't even get on the bus. All the people, noises, small space make me panic uncontrollably.
I didn't know my daughter suffered from ADHD. She was just always getting in trouble at school and never performing well. The teachers just said she couldn't concentrate.
Today, there's a growing movement of people using technology to support us in dealing with these challenges. Tech solutions can be low cost, easy to use and pervasive. We can get care anonymously, when we need it, or even before we realise we need it.
When I was 14 and first went to my GP, it had been a long struggle to get there. I'd probably been symptomatic since early childhood, but not really known what was wrong with me. And partly that's because we don't talk about mental health at school. We don't teach young people about their feelings and looking after themselves and each other.
My name's Fiona Ray. I'm a mother of 2 children. My first major bout of depression was diagnosed probably as late postnatal. If you just wake up and you're on your own and your husband's gone to work, or you've taken your kids to school or whatever it may be, and you're coming back, if you manage to get out of bed, that's for sure. It's a very, there's a lot of nothingness unless you've got the energy to make it happen.
Kat and Fiona have both used technology to support their mental health for many years. And it seems they are not alone. There are an increasing number of apps available that allow people to record their daily mood and actions.
I think tech is being used in lots of very creative ways in mental health, and I also think that actually we're right at the beginning of technology having its full impact in health and well-being. Now, you've got mindfulness training online, you've got CBT training online, you've got Twitter, blogging, vlogging. There's so many different mediums where people are learning to express themselves. People are actually using, I guess, a modern version of keeping a diary, reflective practice.
I think the types of patients that it's beneficial for are those who have relatively mild levels of distress, which shows up as anxiety or depression. There are a lot of patients who have mild symptoms of anxiety and depression, lots and lots.
Kat uses Buddy, which is an app therapists use with patients to help track their mood and stay in touch between sessions.
Buddy is given to people that already have a therapist, and I find it really actually helps you to cement that relationship with a patient or a clinician. You kind of carry on your everyday life and you run around, and then you remember that you've got a therapy session, but you can't remember what you've done the day or the week before, and it's hard to put into words what you feel you need to talk about. So every day I get a message from Buddy asking me how I've been doing and to rate my day from 1 to 5 and tell Buddy a bit about what I've been doing. If I'm really anxious every Monday, maybe it's because I'm drinking 3 cups of coffee, and maybe a goal for me is to cut down.
Buddy, I think, is fantastic because I think it helps the relationship develop between the person who needs help and the person offering it. It's not an alternative, you're not asking people to work on their own, it's supplementing what clinicians, therapists do, and hopefully making it more meaningful for the patient, the person who's presenting, and for the clinician in their work.
I get up I take my medication, I eat my breakfast, I open my emails, I open Macroscope first, and then I read the email and the thought for the day, and I take the test.
Fiona uses Macroscope, which helps track your ups and downs. It connects a community of people managing their moods.
About 4 years ago, I was listening to Woman's Hour and I'd been asked to plot my mood, and I heard about Macroscope, which does it for you daily, and I'm now a regular user.
Well, let's start with John Cousins, inventor of a thing called Macroscope. It is a website on which you track and record your own mood from day to day, so you can then look back at a graph and see how it swings to and fro and work out why.
You've got 20 of these cards. Jittery, you might think, oh, I'm not showing it. Is it feeling agitated and edgy? So it describes that mood. So that actually really makes you think. And then you've got 4 options: very slightly or not at all, quite a bit, extremely. And you'd be amazed how different it can be each day. You know, when you spend quite a lot of time on your own, if you're not, you're not working, or for any other reasons you're too ill to participate in your normal activities, it is providing a connection with other people. So I suspect that if I didn't do it, I would feel lonelier.
The beauty of Macroscope is that you record your mood over a period of time. What you begin to see is patterns. So it's had a direct impact in well-being in that sense, because what it's done is identified patterns.
So, are these technologies the solution? And do they play a real role in prevention?
I think when you reduce isolation and you make people more self-aware, they're 2 fundamental planks for helping people improve their health, including mental health. Can these apps reduce the need for professional time? I think they can. It's probably a bit marginal, but for some people is going to improve their resilience. And if people feel more resilient, more in control, more connected, they're less likely to use the health services.
Practical reality is we know that we've got far more people who have mental health issues than there are services to meet their needs. The NHS is not used to working like this. The professionals who offer help now were trained at a time in the main when these weren't mainstream things. And even though the professionals now will be doing online banking, booking their holidays, all the things that everybody does, there's somehow or other resistant. And as I say, that's something in other parts of what I do. We're working to how we can help people change and see this not as a threat to what they do, because it's not an alternative to traditional therapy. What it is something that can either enhance therapy or offer therapy to people who would never get near it because there are so many people looking for it.
Kat now works for Buddy App and speaks frequently about the use of technology in supporting mental health.
A lot of the time NHS services are very 9 to 5, and actually most people don't have a crisis during office hours. It's the evenings and weekends when they struggle. So for me, being able to go online at 4 AM when I couldn't sleep and hadn't slept for days and talk to someone, even if they were in Australia and it was breakfast for them, was really powerful for me, because it meant there was always someone there to talk to. What I would love to see maybe in 5-10 years is digital being business as usual. It not being seen as some incredible revolutionary thing. I mean, if you think about it, the text message is 25 years old, so it's as old as I am, and it's not really that revolutionary. So what I would like to see is more digital services, not replacing what's already there, but complementing what it's doing. And what would really help me as a patient is if I could actually Skype a GP after work, in the comfort of my own home at 7 PM, say, or be able to send an email to a clinician asking for something or some piece of advice instead of having to write a letter or physically see them.
Fiona continues to actively manage her mental health with the help of Macroscope.
It's like having a person talking to you. And if you're on the NHS, you'll be offered sort of 6 sessions of CBT for which you'll have to wait forever. And, this is it's immediate.
But aside from apps, can the NHS move with the times? How else could technology affect the way the health service works?
The ideas has to come from the people who are actually working with the patients. All we are is a sort of facilitators to give them the space to talk, challenge them, push them to be ambitious, then take the ideas and rapidly take it to some sort of implementation.
The Maudsley is one of the best known and oldest psychiatric hospitals. But this year it became home to a new incubator, WW11, set up by Kumar Jacobs, who previously worked in video games.
We are focusing much more on people who have been with mental health services and who are in what we would call recovery journey. That is, trying to live as full a life as possible, keeping a job going, keeping a family together, earning a living and keeping a life going. And that's the group that we want to really focus on, to help all of those people to stay in that life. So we actually started discussion on a particular technology in May, and we are going to prototype and trial next week. So that's pretty fast work. So one of the big problems with methadone is adherence. People don't go every day. So we are using very basic SMS-based technology to reward them and keep reminding them and encouraging them. In the 6 months, we have had well over 150 people who have come in, and they are the most important people. And those are doctors, nurses, other clinicians, professors and researchers from the NHS Trust and the Institute of Psychiatry. Because the great ideas are with them, it's not with us.
Clearly the potential for technology is, I think, huge in this area. Things that we take for granted now, that this is what therapy or treatment is about, will be radically rethought.
And I think what that's doing is that's challenging the clinicians and the professionals, because the power dynamics are levelling out.